Welcome back, Shalloners. Happy Thanksgiving. Yes, the holidays are here, and if you're watching from outside America, Thanksgiving is a time where we celebrate like our history as a country, when the Native Americans had a wonderful meal with the new white settlers before, white people just completely annihilated them. But it's a time to reflect and pause and give thanks. It's also a time to want to put an absolute shotgun in your mouth because you have to deal with family who are asking you very irritating questions about when you're getting married, another aunt who's calling you fat, and sometimes holidays can just generally be another circle of hell. But I have a survival guide. And we're going to use the Kardashian family, who is never short on drama, as kind of like a touchstone of what to do right in these situations. And yeah, I know we don't often talk about the Kardashians as like a beacon of sanity and dignity, but today we are. But first, just want to let you know that if you have a love question for me or want to talk to me one-on-one about anything, family, friends, whatever, find me on my website, shallonlester.com, and click Get Help. You can also take some fun quizzes to see how your social media is stacking up against everyone else's, and shop my new merch line. Also follow me on Instagram at ShallonXO, where I let you weigh in on the next video topic and vote, and listen to my podcast, Girl on Top, out every Wednesday, every place podcasts are found. So the Kardashians, one of the reasons that they're so popular is because they're kind of just like everyone else. Yes, the scenarios in which their relatable problems occur are not relatable. Kourtney, you were rude to the Terry Mugler team, and I am not giving you this vintage Versace dress that Donatella loaned me. Not a common problem. But we've all dealt with a sibling who's embarrassing us and being an asshole, and you don't know what to do, right? So what they go through is like very... it's the human experience. And I know that I like watching, I'm going to be touching my bangs a whole video. I'm getting them cut tomorrow, but now they're doing this like Trumpian comb over and oh my God, and they're splitting. Oh my God. I know that I watch the Kardashians, as I've told you guys, like when I'm getting ready for the video so that I put on like the appropriate amount of makeup, I'm just like, oh, I should do another layer. Perhaps one more. And also like when I'm having issues with my family, because it really is comforting to know that even with all that money, even with all that fame and that power and influence, can nobody get away from their mama or their dad who became their mom or their siblings or whatever it might be. Like problems are problems, and money does not solve interpersonal problems. If anything, it makes it worse. Like it makes it harder, more money, more problems, your schedule's busy. There's a lot. But that is tip number one. Everyone goes through this. When I grew up in Irvine, California. It's a beautiful, incredible town, a beautiful suburb and a planned community in a very, very wealthy area. And, I grew up with a single mom. She's incredibly hardworking and smart. And like our family's definitely doing well. But like I didn't have that typical nuclear family, picture perfect, like white top, khakis, golden retriever, beach pose in Laguna, family portrait. That just wasn't my scenario. And so I always felt weird. And when I would like be in a fight with my mom, I felt extra weird. I was like, oh my God, no one else is fighting with their mom. Like they live these perfect lives. And this was before social media, where people were actively trying to present that image that like they're perfect, no one ever fights, blah, blah, blah. Now, if I was living that life and going, and seeing things on social media, I just would have hid under my bed. It just would have been a lot. But watching the Kardashians reminds me that like, you know what? Everyone goes through this. Everyone has issues with their parents. Everyone has issues with their family. And it doesn't mean you don't love each other. And look, I know you guys have like talked to me a lot about the topics you want to see in this video. And like, I know you guys go through it with family, like ranging from the small, like my mom can be a brat when she's getting ready for a party. Or my mom has narcissistic personality disorder. My dad's schizophrenic. Someone's an alcoholic. Someone's beating someone else. My uncle molested me. Like there is a huge range. So we're going to talk kind of like middle ground. Like we're going to assume that our problems are, we're not going to assume our problems are anything. Life can suck. But that's kind of point number two. Sometimes you got to just suck it the fuck up. If you live outside of like your parents' house or something, coming back, it's like that's the gift and the curse, right? Because it's like you get just enough distance from like one holiday that you're like, you've kind of recovered, and then it's like, yay, time for another, and you're just rattled all up again. Or maybe it's not even your family. Maybe it's just coming to your hometown and you're reminded of who you were when you were 15 and you couldn't get away and people were mean to you and blah, blah, blah. Holidays, family, it kicks up a lot, and chiefly among them is the concept and the fear that no one else is going through this also. You know, that I am alone on this island of toxic dynamics or just exhaustion from the dynamics in our family. And I just don't want to be here, and nobody else is doing this. Everyone else is having fun. They're not. What's the first line of Anna Karenina? Every happy family is the same, and every unhappy family is unhappy in their own way. And that's so true. And most families at some point in time or another have their hard times. So you're not alone, okay? So let's get in. So that's point number one, right? And point number two is kind of like, sometimes you got to suck it up, because you do. And like, or you know what? You don't. This is, I guess, my overall point. There's two paths to take. The path one is, this is my family. I'm not going to cut them off. I'm not going to abandon them. This is just something I have to endure. Then you cowboy the fuck up and you do it. You get through the weekend, you get through the meal, you get through whatever it is, and you go back to your life, you go back to your therapist, you go back to your Shallon videos, and you decompress, right? Life is full of scenarios we don't always want to be in, but it's about finding that silver lining and finding what's good about it, whether it's self-awareness about what you yourself can tolerate and what your boundaries might be, whether it's awareness about other people and their dynamics and their interactions and what their boundaries might be. There's always something to gain. I never lose. I win or I learn. Nelson Mandela said that, and that has got to be your motto going into things. So that's path one. Path two is you truly have a very toxic family. And you know what, girl? You don't have to be around them. You don't. Blood is not thicker than your peace of mind. No bloodline, no DNA connection, no history trumps my own sanity. It just doesn't. You have the divine animal right to separate from people and situations that do not serve you. Now look, if you're holding out for an inheritance, you got to cowboy the fuck up. But if you're not, like, you can separate from your family. If you see them once a year, you see them once a year. But this brings me to my next point. Set your parameters and do it up front and do it in a neutral time. Say you got a run-of-the-mill annoying family and like you have to come home for Thanksgiving. If you know that 4 days at your mom's house in that bunk bed you slept in when you were 8 is too much, don't tell her that like 2 days before you arrive. She's going to be excited that you're coming, then she's going to be disappointed. Pat it out. Play the long game, the long con. Like, you know what? I've got a presentation I have to like get ready for. I'm so sorry. I can only stay till Friday morning. And then you do it. This is my next point. You're a social sprinter, right? You show up. You are gang. You are happy. You are helping in the kitchen. You are serving the pie. You're talking to Aunt Edna. And then you are the It's okay to have just a small amount of interaction if it's positive quality interaction, right? Because you're not doing anyone else a favor if you linger and get mean. That's not healthy. That's not what your mom wants, because you know what the downfall of that is? You're going to feel really guilty. And then you're going to want to like overcompensate and call her, and then that's going to get, it's a bad vicious cycle, right? So give it your all, be the social sprinter. And this is what the Kardashians do. Oh my God. What is this? I give you you know what? I give my hair everything. I treat her so well. And what does she do to me? Betrayal. Betrayal. So yeah, this is what the Kardashians do. When they come to a party, they come. Sometimes they're late. They're doing the photo booths. They're on the dance floor. They're giving hugs. They're talking to people. And then like, okay, I gotta go. I got a meeting in the morning. I got a photo shoot. I love you, mama. I gotta go. They don't hang out for like days on end. They don't do that. They have their life, they have their priorities, and those priorities are communicated and set very early on, and they don't change. And there's always a positive spin. It's like, mama, you know that if I get this promotion, I'm going to be making so much more money, and then I can like send you wonderful gifts and blah, 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 and I'm going to be so much more stable. You want me to be stable, right? Mama, you know, I have to study for this final. I mean, you and daddy work so hard to like pay for my tuition. The last thing I want to do is let you down. You can gaslight the gaslighter, can't you? Turn it against him. The next thing, pick your battles, right? Pick your battles. Thanksgiving at the table is not the time to work through childhood trauma. It is not that time. And the Kardashians know that. We see that. When they get together, they put everything aside, whether it's for a few hours or it's on a vacation. Because they're always saying like, Kourtney, we just want to have fun. Can we not just have fun? We're in Bali. And it's like, that's true. Now is not the time, because fighting and arguing with someone and assuming you are in it for peace and not victory, which we talk about all the time, it's about neutrality. You want to approach someone in a neutral way, on a neutral playing field, not in a situation that's already emotionally fraught. You're already gassed up about something. People are drinking. Mom's stressed because the turkey's not done. This is not the time. This is not the time to bring up your issues with whoever, literally with anybody. Don't do it. And the Kardashians know that. And now this is probably one of my biggest points. Don't take the bait. You and I are healthy, normal people, right? I don't go into social interactions with this rubbing my little hands together and be like, ha, I'm going to needle people. I'm going to get them all riled up. I love to debate. I don't love to debate. I love to chill out and fucking drink, watch Murder, She Wrote, text my friends, Snapchat with boys. That's what I like to do. Okay? I don't need stress. I fight the whole world every day. I've got 225,000 internet friends. I don't need drama. So I don't take the bait. If people want to talk about Trump, okay. I'm not going to weigh in. And listen, I am a bait taker. And so this is my personal Waterloo to not take the bait in situations like this, whether it's a dinner party or with a family member who knows what button to press because they installed those buttons, right? Do what I do. I come up with what I call a mind map. That's maybe not the right word for it. Like a consequence flow chart. When I'm going into a situation that I anticipate to be a bit bellicose, warlike, I should do a vocabulary word of the day, right? I map out the possible scenarios from best case, or a minor infraction, to the worst case, class A felony. And then I come up with my response ahead of time, how I'm going to react. Okay, so crazy Uncle Kyle's at the dinner table talking about build out wall, fuck Obamacare. Okay, what am I going to do? If I know that I can't stand to hear about it, I'm going to get up and I'm going to go make another plate of crescent rolls. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the bathroom and wash my hands, or sit on the side of the bathtub for 15 minutes. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull up a dog meme and I'm going to look through those dog Instagram accounts. I'm going to calm down. If you can't play nice, get out of the sandbox. And look, I don't blame you for not wanting to play nice, but like we said before, now isn't the time. And the more you take the bait, the more you're going to feed into people like Uncle Kyle. Because while we don't go into these situations looking for a fight, maybe Uncle Kyle does. Because maybe Uncle Kyle doesn't have a lot of personal power elsewhere in his life. So this is his battleground. This is the place where he's going to exert his dominance. And he's going to get listened to. Because at the Shell station he works at, no one listens to him. They come in, they buy their beef jerky and their Powerball, and then they walk out. They don't even look at me. Well, you know what, Kyle? You don't want me looking at you. I ain't very nice. So this could be people working through things. People could be assholes. They could be unaware. It doesn't matter. This is not your time to play therapist and diagnose everyone else's issues. It just doesn't get you very far. My next point, which is going to help you not take the bait. Okay, wait. Back to not taking the bait, because I want to bring up a Kardashian example of what not to do. This is a rare time what not to do. Remember when Khloe threw True's first birthday party and Tristan, third trimester Tristan, came and he decided to use this time where he was already the bad guy to literally all of planet Earth to pick a fight with Kanye West of all people, not who I'd pick a fight with, about how Kanye used one of his songs to in a promo that cast Tristan in a bad light. And it's everyone was this is not the time to be having this discussion. This is not the time. And Khloe couldn't not get involved. She ended up in tears. She was so upset. She was already a fraught thing. And it's how do you not take the bait? I don't fault her for this at all. Come on, that poor girl. But it's hard not to. And her family shouldn't have taken the bait. And they shouldn't have even passed that message along to her. You know what I mean? They should have recognize that a neutral time to bring this up is not at her daughter's birthday party. I've been like, we're not bringing this up to her. This can just die at the party. Let Khloe have fun. Someone get her some more champagne. We will talk about this in the morning, right? So, what was the next thing I was going to say? Oh yeah. Here's another thing to help you not take the bait. Pick a task. Do you remember the episode? This was a long time ago, but it was like when Kourtney, I think she was pregnant and she was investigating like different birthing methods. And one thing was like a water birth. And so this couple, for some reason, invited her to come watch their water birth at the house. And Khloe was like, I was so uncomfortable. I didn't know what to do. So I just started cleaning. And it's like her like spraying the counters and just as this woman's like groaning and moaning in agony, and Khloe's just like scrubbing things. I was like, that is me. Busy yourself. I get up and remove myself from situations all the time. Don't get on your phone, okay? That's not removing. That you're gonna look worse. You're gonna look like the bratty millennial who has to be on her phone. Like, that's gonna be fuel to the fire for Uncle Kyle. He's gonna see that as a flag in front of a bull. So get up and start cleaning, because that's going to make you look better to the rest of the family. It's like, look at how helpful Shallon is. She's cleaning. It's like, I'm trying to get away from Uncle K. Okay. Stick to groups. So there's safety in numbers. We are pack animals, and there's a reason why. They can't kill us all. They can't catch us all. So if you stick to groups, sometimes people are less apt to get nervy and ask you inappropriate questions if it's in front of the dinner table. But sometimes that emboldens people. So kind of figure it out. If you know that getting trapped alone with Aunt Helen is like a recipe for disaster, you stick with your cousins, right? Or vice versa. If you know that being like in silence at the dinner table next to Uncle Kyle is a recipe for disaster, keep it moving. Oh, can I get you some more wine? Let me clean that plate up, blah, blah, blah. Like a shark, just never stop moving. Never stop moving until the night's over. Here's another thing. Keep your business private. We talked about this in a recent video about Billie Eilish and how society feels like women always owe you an answer. Like, I have been asked such inappropriate questions by a billion different people, you know? And it's like, who the fuck do you think you are to ask me this? And then not at any point have this moment of clarity, like, that's inappropriate. I'm so sorry, Shallon. It's like, well, are you going to answer me? How far did you go with him? How many people have you slept with? Tell me. Okay. So remember this. No one, and I don't care if they're blood related, I don't care if you shared a body for 9 months. No one is entitled to access to your life, your history, your information, your stories. They're simply not. You are a self-contained vessel. And if we look at the animal kingdom, there's almost no other animal that I can think of. And I know a lot of weird animal facts. I was a virgin until I was 21. I think we know why. There's no animal that sticks right by their parents in the way that we do. You grow up, you literally leave the nest. Goodbye. I wish you luck. I'm going to have another round of babies. But humans, like, we feel responsible for our offspring and vice versa forever. And it's a lot of pressure, you know, and it maybe is unnatural. So it's okay to have that separation. And again, we see this in the Kardashians. I remember when Kourtney was hooking up with Justin Bieber, like my favorite moment in American history. And like Ellen DeGeneres was asking Kim about it on her show. And she's like, Kourtney doesn't even tell us. Like, I don't know. Look, if people don't know, there's no ammunition. And Kourtney does not apologize for being secretive. And she's not, you know, she doesn't pussyfoot around about it. She's like, none of your business. Change the topic. But she's consistent about that, so they know not to keep on knocking on her door. And this is part of not taking the bait. It's like, I don't know when I'm getting married, Uncle Kyle. Change the subject. We're moving on. We're moving on. I don't know what I'm going to be when I grow up. Moving on. No one gets access. And here's another thing. My next point. What are we on? 9? I think we're on 9. Accept that people's issues are theirs. When people have that entitlement of like, I'm going to ask about your life and I demand to know things and I'm going to guilt trip you, that is coming from their filter, okay? That's not because of you. There is no way you could act, no way you could be that is going to ameliorate that need within them, right? And the Kardashians definitely know that. They don't internalize the insults that the other people throw at them. Like, Kim and Kourtney are always going at it like, you're a disgusting human, you're a bitter bitch, you do nothing, you're useless. And they're just like, really? Like, I'm sure it hurts. Nobody wants to hear that. But it's like, for the most part, that bounces right off them. And they're like, you're the one with the problem. They're not like, oh my God, I am. Part of that is their latent narcissism. But narcissism definitely has its good points. It insulates you from opinions. It's like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. I have a healthy dose of narcissism. So when people insult me, I was like, okay. Oh, I'm stupid? Sure. Like, I know that I'm not. Or I believe that I'm not. Doesn't matter. No one believes. Reality is perception. So now we are at our final point of how to deal with toxic family for the holidays, right? Go into these situations with a spirit of observation versus connection, right? It is very, very helpful to view situations that are fraught from almost like a third party standpoint. Like, this is a psychological trick. It's just like separating yourself, almost like you're having an out-of-body experience, or that you're going in as some sort of sociological experiment. I'm going to observe the average American family on a holiday. Uncle Kyle, we see the characteristics of male pattern baldness, possible erectile dysfunction, latent opioid use, delusions of grandeur, all of Donald Trump. Like, and you can just be like, interesting, I'm observing this. And then that gives you that crucial space, like the Kardashians have, where what people say to you is so much more of a reflection of who they are than who you are, right? And sometimes just that fraction of a fantasy that puts a little space between the message and you is all you need to overcome it. To be like, I'm observing. That was a strange thing for them to say, but I, as the observer, I, as a sort of zoological expert watching these people, I'm gonna take a note, jot it down in my field guide, and not take it personally. Because if you go into it with this idea of like, everything has to be perfect, these people have to understand me inside and out. No, they don't, girl. We are tribal creatures, right? And it is part of our most basic need to be included within a tribe. Because hey, if you don't have a tribe, you didn't survive. That's how it worked. But we are lucky enough now that we can choose our tribe. We can choose our tribe. We have the internet. We have so many different ways to make friends. We are able to have different types of friends, and that's so much more socially acceptable. It's not like, well, I'm a staunch Christian, so I can only hang out with Christians. No, girl, you can be friends with a Jew. It's fine. Nobody cares. So realize that you have a tribe. Maybe your tribe is just one other person. Maybe your tribe is your husband or your boyfriend or your sister or your cousin or your friend at school. That's okay. It's about getting from moment to moment to moment in these fraught situations just enough to get through it, to put that little distance between the message and who you are, to observe it in a way that allows you to repel it and not internalize it and just soak up everything like a sponge. So this is going to be your homework. And look, dealing with family, it's not a one-shot deal, right? This is our life's work. Get into therapy. Get into a therapist that specializes in cognitive behavioral therapy, because they're going to give you actual mantras to say to yourself. Because when you're in what I call like a triage situation where you're stressed and you're fraught and you're whatever, your brain wants a way out. Your brain does not like cognitive dissonance. You're flooded with cortisol. That's a stress hormone. Cortisol literally causes cancer. Okay? Your body doesn't want poison, actual poison, pumping through its veins and its heart valves. It wants peace. So give it something to latch onto. If you have to sit at the table and be like, we're the Kardashians, I'm going to pretend that that's my mom, Kris Jenner, freaking out over the apple pie. And that's my weird Uncle Rob. And I'm just going to be able to get through this in a way that isn't absorbing into my mind and my DNA and my heart. And then in a neutral time of my life, I'm going to make a plan to avoid these situations or to manage them better based on the information I've learned. Everything is data. Everything is data. From what we observe about a fuckboy, to what we see in our friends, to what we see in our family. Not every data point has to be huge. Like, we log it as a data point and we revisit it later. That scientific detachment is what is going to keep us sane. Right? And we think it's got to be the opposite. We have to be so emotionally attached and like find this place of peace. approach family and other fraud situations almost as if you're a scientist, right? Because you are. You are a scientist in your own life, going through the scientific process in your own life, trying something, hypothesizing how it's going to turn out, seeing that maybe it does or it doesn't, refining your methods. Do the same thing with family and you'll get through this. I promise. You can always binge my videos. And if you do if you do want to talk one-on-one, find me on my website, shallonlester.com, and click Get Help. You can also shop some merch and take some quizzes. And follow me on Instagram at ShallonXO, where you can vote on the next video topic and listen to my podcast, Girl on Top. Happy holidays, Shalloners. I'll see you soon.